guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. How the hell are you? I hope you're all staying safe. I'm absolutely fine, busy at work and not doing a great deal like everyone else at the moment with, you know, the current restrictions in place, etc, etc. So yeah, gaming wise, what have I been doing this week? I have been caning the new arcade cabinet, really enjoying it. I'm actually quite surprised at just how much a difference it makes having a cabinet at the right level. I mean, I love my little bar top, it's fantastic, but just having it at the correct level. Now, by the way, if you can hear that noise, I am not in the jungle. It is my daughter's monitor. That's the food that he eats. It's crickets, live crickets. So yeah, they're a pain in the arse. You get brown crickets and you get black crickets. The brown crickets are completely silent, whereas the black ones make that horrible chirping noises. Drives me daft. And so what I usually have to do is I have to keep them in a cupboard and put them inside a box, so you basically can't hear them because it's a really high pitched noise. I think it's their legs. That vibrate or something like that. Anyway, I'm not David Attenborough. If you want to find out, go and check out a David Attenborough YouTube video. So anyway, yeah, back to gaming. Like I says, I've been playing quite a bit of the main cab. I've not been doing a great deal. Now, before I kind of get into the actual main, into the questions, I kind of want to put this out here. I'll be honest, the last, I don't know, I would say I've not really been feeling it much on the YouTube front. I would say probably for the last couple of months. My job, I mean, I enjoy my job, don't get me wrong, I am enjoying it, but it is mega busy. Now, I don't know whether that plus the travelling, plus the fact that it's dark at night, dark in the morning, dark at night, I don't know where the time seems to go. I just don't seem to have the time to make videos just now. I don't really know what I'm doing with myself, to be fair. I can't think where all the time's actually going. But I mean, I've been making YouTube videos now since 2013, so it must be about 6.5 years easily that I've been making YouTube videos. I've never really taken a break from it at all. Because I enjoy it, I do enjoy it, but I've always insisted that when you get to a stage where it becomes a chore rather than because you enjoy it, then I think you have to kind of review things. Now, don't panic. I am not closing the channel at all. You know what I mean? I do enjoy it. What I'm planning to do is I will still try and put out videos as and when I can. I'm still going to be doing the Friday Waffles because I do enjoy them, and I'm going to continue. This will be the one you'll be pleased about. I will be continuing to do the Sunday live stream. I will try and do collab videos because collab videos, they're a completely different animal. They're fun to do because you don't really have to prepare for them as such, whereas when you're making videos yourself, you're making content, you've got to put a bit of effort in, and right now I'm just not feeling it. And I'll be honest, I was earlier on in the week, I seriously thought about taking a break from YouTube completely. Not close the channel, but just maybe taking a couple of months off. A couple of days on, today, I don't really want to do that. But it's just really to make you aware. I mean, I've not been making a lot of content for quite a while. I do try and get out the odd kind of video in between. So really nothing's actually changed. Like I said, I'll still be doing the Friday Waffle, I'll still be doing the Sunday live stream, and I will still be doing, the occasional collab videos with different people, me and my son Chums Talk Pish, and I will still be putting out the occasional video. But as I says, I would rather step back a wee bit than just walk away completely. I don't want to do that. I do enjoy, like I said, I do enjoy YouTube. You guys rock, you're my mates, you know what I mean, so why would I want to knock that in the head? But like I said, I'm just going to maybe take a wee bit of a break from sort of putting out regular content and just kind of I don't know, wait until I've got the enthusiasm back for it again, you know. I think it's, like I said, it's not so much, oh god, you can hear that cricket. It's not so much, I don't have the enthusiasm. I'm just too tired. I'm too tired, and I've got other things that I think I would rather do than sitting at a computer, because when you're doing a collab video or a live stream, whatever, you're actively interacting with people. But when you're just recording, you know, an Arcade Perfect, my arse, whatever, it's just you in front of the computer. And to be honest, I think I value my time too much, and I think there's other things I'd rather do than making videos just now. So hopefully you do understand what I'm saying, guys. Like I said, I'm not closing the channel at all. I will continue with the Friday Waffles, and more importantly, I will be continuing with the Sunday live streams, because I do enjoy them. They are really good fun, and I will try and put out an occasional video as and when I can. I would like to eventually get back to sort of putting out 3-4 videos a week like I used to. Can I see me getting back to that stage? I don't know. I think unless things change, I think possibly because this job that I'm in, it says I've got travelling, whereas before I never had that. Saying that, I do. I'm in the house for 5 o'clock, so it's not like I don't get until late. But I don't know. I just feel tired all the time, and it's got to a point where, you know, there's other things I want to do. So anyway, enough of me twattling on about that. I'm going to batter straight into the questions. Now I'm going to look at, well, in fact, I don't think I answered any questions from 2 weeks ago, so let me just go through here. Country Roadist, the Friday Waffle is one of the only constants during these terrible times. Love you, Alan, man. Keep on keeping on. Listen, thank you very much for, you know what, I mean, I've just said everything about wanting to, you know, take a break for YouTube, but it's when you get a comment like that saying how much they appreciate what you're doing, that is the only inspiration I need. It's the motivation I need, because I mean, you guys do always say how much you enjoy the channel, and I realise that, but so I think sometimes you maybe have to hear it, and when you get a comment like that, you just think, wow, I'm making a bit of a difference. And I completely get what you're saying, because at the moment everything's just kind of changed. Nothing is really the same, you know what I mean? The things that we've done as routine is no longer, and I suppose when you do get some things like the Friday Waffle and other things that are still a constant, it's quite reassuring. So I do understand what you're saying. But, you know, thank you very much for that comment. That's a lovely thing. Panther UK, for the next waffle, we know you like a good shoot 'em up, but were there any long haul RPGs or strategy games that drew you in back in the day? RPG, I think about the only RPG that I really played a lot would probably be Zelda. I did play it on the Game Boy, and then I played it on the SNES. Never quite completed it, but I did enjoy it. That's, excuse me, that's probably it. I've never really gotten into Dungeon Master, Captive. Never really got into like Eye of the Beholder, any of these games. No, I think probably Zelda was probably the biggest one. I mean, I've played things like what do you call it? I'm trying to remember the name of it. Not Overwatch. You know, these RPGs, things like Dishonored. Dishonored is one of the best games on the Xbox 360. I've played that, completed that. So, you know, the modern consoles, I do play RPGs, because that's pretty much about the only games you can really play. But yeah, like I said, back in the day, I think Legend of Zelda, or Zelda, what I can't even remember what it's called, Ocarina of Time, was it, I think? Can't remember exactly. Great game in the SNES. I don't think I've ever really played any RPGs. I did enjoy Fairy Tale Adventure on the Amiga, which is one of the earliest Amiga games I ever got. So anyway, Chris, thank you very much for that. Delboy, question. When you interviewed your first recognised star person from the computer industry, did you have a set of questions in your head to ask but got tongue-tied or ran out of time, and is there a guest still to be interviewed from your bucket list? my very, very first guest that I interviewed for my Blind Mates Only was Paul E. Moz, who you'll be familiar with. Paul, I was going to say, used to be an author. I'm still waiting on this They Were Our Gods. Can't even remember the name of your book, Paul. It's been that long. You've had it. It's been getting written for about the last 10 years now. Genuinely interested, Paul. Do you think that magazine, not magazine, do you think that book will ever get released? I think it would be a travesty if you didn't release it. I mean, I think if you've got to a stage where you don't see yourself finishing it, I think you should just put it out as a free PDF, because you did give me a very, very brief kind of glimpse of what it was going to look like, and I was very impressed with it. And I think you've put so much work into it that to not ever let it see the light of day, I think would be very, very sad indeed. But yeah, Paul was my first guest. I suppose first well-known guest, I think, was Gary Liddon from Zap. Now, I've known Gary online for best part of 20 years. I've met Gary quite a few times. He's been along to our computer club a couple of times, so I know Gary personally. He's a good lad. As far as questions, what I always do is always prepare questions. I think you probably could get away with winging it, but you know, a lot of these people, time is important, and rather than just if I was just going to wing it, chances are I would probably spend half the time talking as well, and it's not about me, it's about the guest. So that's why I always do quite a bit of preparation when it comes to questions. I try and think of stuff that, well, you know what, I was going to say, I try and think of stuff that other people would want. That's not technically true. I always think of questions that I want to know the answer to. And I would like to think that the questions I ask are what other people would be asking themselves. So no, I always do prepare, Dale. Have I ever been tongue-tied or anything? I don't think so. I've got to say, when I interviewed Dominic Diamond, I was quite nervous. And I think it does come across, certainly in the first 10-15 minutes, I am quite nervous sounding, which is no surprise, because talking to somebody who you only ever watched on TV, it can be a bit weird. I mean, I'm saying like I've only done it once. I mean, I've obviously interviewed quite a few people, and it can be quite scary. I mean, when I did the live panel talks down in Blackpool, it was I suppose it was quite scary, but it was enjoyable. But I'll give you a laugh. When I was interviewing Andrew Morris and Sean Southern for the Magnetic Fields panel interview, somebody in their wisdom decided to turn off the lights, and I had the questions written down in front of me, and I could hardly see them. And I'd asked a question, and then I was trying to look to find out what the next question was, and I was hoping that Andrew and Sean didn't sort of just give me one word answers, and that they talked for a wee bit, and I was absolutely struggling to try and find answers. I think I ended up getting my phone and I had to use the torch to see it, because what you do panic is you get that awkward silence. You've got an audience of maybe like a couple hundred people sitting watching you, and you've asked a question and you get an answer, and then immediately it's back to you again. So that was a bit scary when I physically couldn't see the questions, but I think I managed to kind of muddle through it anyway. So yeah, good question, Dale, and thank you very much again. Retro Russ, welcome to the Arcade Cabinet Owners Club, Alan. Thank you very much, Russ. I don't know whether I would technically be classed as an official arcade owner, because it is MAME, it's a PC running MAME, but it's a proper cab. I mean, it's not, I've got to say, no original cabs were harmed in the making of my cab. It was built from the ground up, built from scratch. Got to say, it's a fantastic cab, solid. I am going to actually do a look at probably maybe next week. Actually, that'd be quite a good video to get put out. Excuse me, Colin Jones, happy to help you spread this great community. So when it's good for both of us, I'll help you get a multitask set up. Good stuff, or a multicast set up sorted, I should say. Waffle question, winter is coming and the clocks will be going back this Sunday. Well, obviously they went back in Sunday past. Are you still keeping up with the running even though the winter is going bad? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I started running seriously in 2010. and I was running with one of my mates, and we would go out together. We would run a Monday, a Wednesday, sometimes a Friday, and a Sunday. And we would run a Sunday, we'd go out for 4 or 5 hours. During the week, we'd go out for like an hour and a bit. And you know, running is a very, very difficult sport. There's no easy way to run. It's just you and your two legs. You know, you can't. I'm not saying. I mean, cycling is a difficult sport as well, but you can go. You can freewheel down hills. Excuse me. When you're running, there's no prisoners. It's just you and the tarmac. So you know, especially when I did long distance runs. I mean, I would go out and run 30 miles. And then obviously I've done a lot of the races. I've done 55 mile races. I've done 3 96 mile races, and I've always ran with my mate. Now about a year ago, he got into a relationship, and he's now his girlfriend is a runner and a cyclist, and I've effectively been dumped. That I can't really say any other way. I've effectively been dumped, and I really miss going out with him. I have tried on numerous occasions to go out running, and I've struggled. I've just struggled mentally. Running I would say when you get a certain level of fitness, running is probably 60% mental, 40% physical, because it can be the hardest sport in the world, and I am struggling with it. I have started off, I actually discovered that one of my neighbours, the guy's quite a bit younger than me, he's into running, so I've been going out running with him a couple of times a week. I didn't manage out this week at all. Like I was saying, I don't know where my time's going, but I do want to get back running with him again. He's a nice lad, although I think he's moving away in probably 6 months' time. What I'm maybe looking to do is, because of the shit weather basically, I'm thinking about getting myself either a running machine or a cross trainer for the cycle, for my bike. I pay for a gym membership, but I've never been down. Perfect answer is I don't want to go and risk getting infected. I noticed I've driven past the gym a few times, and there's no masks getting worn. People seem to be quite close to each other, which I'm not keen on at all. So I've not been to the gym. So I'm thinking about getting either a cross trainer or maybe a running machine, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm disappointed in myself how my running has become, because you know, I go out running now, I go out for 3 miles and I struggle, and yet 3-4 years ago I could run 100 miles, you know, and that's quite difficult. It's a difficult pill to swallow when you're sort of going from that to where I am just now, but I am planning to try and get fit again. Right, Milfy Swinbuckle. Since starting the channel, what would you say are your 3 happiest memories associated with the channel since you launched, and perhaps one memory again associated with the channel that makes you either annoyed or disappointed? 3 happy memories. The first one would be when Brian C, who does watch my videos, when I'd been making YouTube videos for about a month, and I decided to knock it in the head, because I think I had 2 subscribers and my videos were getting like 2 or 3 views, and I decided to knock it in the head. I thought, this is a waste of time, and Brian messaged me and he said how much he enjoyed my channel, and that was a bit of a wow. How can somebody enjoy watching me playing video games? I really couldn't understand why somebody would enjoy that. But the fact that Brian took time to tell me that, I thought, hang on a second, I need to keep this going. So that was memory number 1. Memory number 2. You know what? Can I go for 4? Memory number 2 is going to be when I've mentioned this before. When somebody at my work, not my job now, my job 5 years ago, they found out that I was making YouTube videos, and they decided to start ripping the piss out of me. They were telling people at work, and there was a few people making a fool of me, not in a nice way, basically laughing at my face, you know, calling me Mr. Pac-Man, and just basically taking the piss. So I decided at that point, I thought, right, you know what, I'm taking the channel down. I'm not going to have myself getting belittled in that way. So I took the channel down, and then a couple of days later, well, in fact, almost instantly, the feedback that I got from people saying, don't let these people get to you, because you're a good guy and you're doing something which brings happiness to other people. And you know what, that made me realise, I thought, you know what, stuff it, I'm going to do it back again. So I resurrected I should say, the channel. Now I had got to, I think it was 500 subscribers just before I took the channel down, and when I resurrected the channel, it had gone to like 38 subscribers. I don't know what happened, but basically I lost 462 subscribers and I was down to like 38, something like that. And then Lactobacillus Prime, my good mate Mark, he basically made a video saying, explaining what had happened and how I'd lost all my subscribers, and he says please go and resubscribe. And within about 2 or 3 days, I hadn't just got my 500 subscribers back, I ended up about 600. So that was just a real nice thing. Really privileged to have people like Mark, you know, top bloke. So that was really nice. Third one, I think it's going to have to be interviewing Dominic Diamond. That was amazing. That was amazing. And fourth one, I think 100% would have to be the recent 12-hour live stream that we all did. It was a team effort, brilliant day. I think everybody had good fun, had some amazing guests, and we also raised it was £1,000 less 43 quid that Just Giving take off, but we raised just under £1,000. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So that's my 4. So great question, Milfy, thank you. I think that's that. So wait a minute, that was 2 weeks ago's waffle. So I'm just going to jump up and look at last week's one. Right, let's have a wee look. Yeah, well, somebody was asking me, in fact it was Ox that was asking me about what, apart from video games, what memories do you have of the 80s? And Del Boy has given a really good reply here. He's saying, great question, Ox. It's a weird thing, memory. In the 1980s, I remember the Berlin Wall coming down, the miners' strike, the Yorkshire Ripper. You know what, you're right, although that was a horrible thing, like Lockerbie as well. It was a horrible thing, but it was part of the memories of the 80s. Riots in LA, all of the NASA space shuttle stuff. It was music that pinpointed my memory to those events. Going to secondary school, the new students that I only just started to know, and so we're not friends yet, we're into Bad Manners, Adam and the Ants, Buster Blood Vessel, Aha, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, and so many other styles and artists that the list goes on and on. But they became a thing that shaped the canvas of my life, even if I was considered a bit highbrow, liking orchestra stuff or synthesizer stuff. Without the music, I don't think I would remember much about the history of the time. You know what, Dale, you're absolutely right. I can hear a song from the 80s, I can usually tell you what I was doing at that point. It's a real powerful sort of memory thing. Heroes, at an early age my dad loved sport and I could sometimes stay up and watch some of them. Muhammad Ali was a hero of mine. In many ways he inspired me. I have watched no end of documentaries such as What's My Name and YouTube fights and videos all in the memory of the time. I watched him with my dad. I didn't understand at the time what exactly it was all about. Race didn't come into it and colour definitely did not. It was just two men fighting to win. Later on, when I read We Came in Chains and watched the plight of the eternal fight of these men and women, I came to understand the underlying meaning to some of the politics and religion involved. but for me, its memories are great ones with my dad. Studying piano, I had heroes like Elton John, being as I studied piano, and appreciated composers like Jerry Goldsmith, Roy Budd, Georges Delarue, John Williams, etc., and gained a huge collection of eclectic tastes. But heroes are funny things. I look up to many, but rarely were they a hero that's a special distinction. So glad for your Elvis present and how wonderful wee Bob did that for you. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Dale. That's really, really nice. Highlander was saying, heroes, Freddie Mercury. I'm 37 and I've been a fan of Queen for the best part of 30 years. The man was on a completely different level. By the way, Alan, Magnum, great shout out. I love them, seen them twice, massively underrated band. Yeah, amazing. Let's have a quick look. Happy birthday, Alan, from Milestar. Thank you very much. Colin Jones is saying here, next up from HDMI is DisplayPort. Yeah, I was going on about the HDMI was the most current thing. So DisplayPort, that is the next up? Seriously, why do we keep changing it? I mean, HDMI gives you 4K, it gives you 8K. Why do we need this? This is where it annoys me about progress. I love progress because without progress I wouldn't be recording this on an iPad or whatever. But I don't see why they have to keep changing these things. It's just a pain in the arse, it really is. And down the rabbit hole for the Friday Waffle. First of all, Alan, let me wish you a happy birthday again and see how jealous I am of that awesome painting wee Bob did for you. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. As for some questions, I know you don't have much nostalgia for pinball, but I see At Game and Arcade 1UP are making multi-pinball cabinets, and I wondered if any of those might take your fancy. Kevin, I don't have any, because I don't have any memories of pinball, I've got no nostalgia for it. But I did play a little, it was a little pinball cabinet thing. It's just running on an iPad, I think it was, down at Nerg, I think it was. And I would love to have a full-size video pinball table, or else I would love to have a real pinball table, you know, there's no question of that. A, I don't have the money, B, I don't have the room. But yeah, it's not something I've really ever got into. I'm sure if somebody was to gift me a pinball table, then I'd think differently. But yeah, it's just one of these things. I know pinball and video games generally go hand in hand, but I just don't have any. I've got no history with pinball, hence the reason I've not got any real aspirations to play it. Saying that, I do have is it Pinball Arcade in the PC, and I think it's amazing. But no, I just don't have the love that I've got for video games. I just don't have for pinball. Secondly, I'm watching news about the PS5 and I'm thinking for the time being I'm sticking with the PS4. It makes me wonder, did Sega gamers back in the 1990s decide to stick with their Mega Drives and not upgrade to the 32X or the Saturn? That would clearly have been the better choice in hindsight, given the 32X and Saturn did not do too well. Do you agree? I'm genuinely interested, Kev, what is it about the PS5 that people are not liking? I'll be honest, as much as I keep saying that I'll probably will end up getting one, I'm in no rush to buy one. I really am. I mean, unless I can see something that I just go, wow, I've really got no interest in getting a PlayStation 5. So I mean, I've always been an early adopter. I got a PlayStation 4 as soon as it came out. I did get an Xbox 360 pretty much as soon as it came out, but I'm going to sit and wait about the PS5. I'll wait and see. I hardly use. I've got two PlayStation 4s. I couldn't tell you the last time I had the PlayStation 4 on, so you know, and given I'm trying to downgrade, I'm trying to reduce my collection a wee bit, I really don't see any point in buying extra machines when I'm not really using the ones that I've got. So but yeah, it was sad because the 32X I think was quite a powerful thing, but it was never fully used. And the Saturn, I mean, it came out just before the PlayStation, and it had some amazing games, and then the PlayStation came along and it just killed the Saturn stone dead. But saying that, I've got my Saturn underneath the TV and I do play it regularly. My PlayStation's in a cupboard, so you can take for that whatever you will. Finally, I did a video about a PSVR game recently, and I noticed I kept using the phrase experience too much. What other terms could I use to describe a VR title other than experience? That's the problem, Kev. That's exactly the problem with VR. There's not many actual games. It's just an experience. They're usually quite short-lived, very, very short. Interaction is limited. I don't know what else you could really call it. I mean, if it's a game, then you can call it a game, but I don't know what else you'd possibly call it, because that is pretty much what they are. They're experiences. No, I can't really think of. I mean, I've got one. You're in the Titanic. There's another one where you're climbing Everest. To call it a simulation would be wrong, I think, or is it? I don't know. Possibly simulation. But yeah, I think it is. I think experience is probably sums it up about the best, I would say, Kev. So anyway, listen, Kev, thanks very much for your questions. You always take time to ask me questions, which is wonderful. There's no question there, and I think the very, very last question I've got here, guys, is from a new subscriber, Mr. David Bentley. Thank you very much for subscribing, David. I hope you enjoy the channel. If you'll accept it, of course I will. Which 8-bit games were the biggest disappointment to you, and which were far better than you had expected? Biggest disappointments 8-bit wise. I'm trying to think. Biggest disappointments. Cobra by Ocean Software. I remember seeing my mate had that in the Spectrum, and he got it for me for my Christmas, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. In fact, I'm being very, very polite. I'm not going to swear, but it's not very good. I think one of the disappointments for me, and I've never really thought about this before, was the games that the games that Ultimate put out, because Ultimate were the company. They put out every game they put out for the Spectrum, certainly the early games, your Attic Attacks, Night Lore, Underworld, Alien 8, all these games, they were just incredible, and I was so excited when they advertised they were going to be writing for the C64, and I thought that their games were going to be the best ever games, and it turned out that they weren't. I wasn't a fan. I know, I think it was Zap magazine, they rated Entombed quite highly, but I just thought that the C64 games were really blocky looking. I mean, they had nice colours, but the graphics were just really blocky. And when you think about the graphics that the Spectrum was getting with things like Night Lore, and then we were playing this big blockfest, Dog's Breakfast that was Staff of Karnath and whatever it was. There was a few of them. They were all pretty poor in my opinion. Any other games? Way of the Exploding Fist is an amazing game. Loved that so much. And I was stupidly excited when Way of the Exploding Fist 2 was coming out. It was going to be an adventure game, and I remember, looking at all the screenshots and Zap, all the sort of preview shots, and it just looked amazing. And then when it came out, I was so disappointed. I don't know, it was just boring. It wasn't even, technically it wasn't that good. There weren't that many moves in the game as well, so that was a disappointment. Can't think of any other games offhand. And was there any game that was better than you thought? I think Elite kind of, I remember, I did read the review, to be fair, in Zap, but a lot of people seem to think that Elite was going to be crap on the C64 because of the, the C64 can't do vectors apparently. And And although Elite was quite slow, you soon got used to the speed. And I mean, I put hours and hours and hours and hours into that game. I loved it so much. Trying to think of any other games that I thought. I'm trying to think. Can't think. I mean, the one for me on the 16-bit was Street Fighter. I've mentioned this loads of times. Me and my mate, we decided to chip in and buy Street Fighter. The graphics looked incredible. I'd played the arcade, and we got home, and I told him to go and put the kettle on, and I'll load up Street Fighter. And by the time he came through with a cup of tea, I'd completed the game, and it was absolutely god awful, terrible, terrible, terrible game. So anyway guys, that's it for another Friday Waffle. I just want to say again, thank you again to everybody that continues to support my channel. Thanks to my long-term subscribers, thanks to the new guys as well. You know, without you lot, I simply wouldn't do this. This coming Sunday, I'll be doing the live stream as normal, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Now what I'm going to be doing is, I have got a spreadsheet. If you're a regular to my channel, you might have seen a video that I've got, a playlist that I call What the Bloody Hell Is This? Basically, I have got a front end on my PC, and I've got something like 50,000 ROMs, games, call them whatever you want, and I've imported them into Excel, and I've got this little formula that I run that's basically randomly picks one of the games out of 50,000, and I basically play it and make a video with it. So what I thought would be a laugh this Sunday, every game that we play, or I play I should say, is going to be randomly picked by my computer. So there might be some great games, chances are there's going to be some pish as well. So anyway guys, listen, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Until next time guys, thank you very much for watching.